Yeah, I get it.
So, I mean, how's your, I mean, I know how your day is going, but how's it going career wise? What have you been up to this week?
Um, this week I've been doing a lot of revisions to my business plan.
Ooh.
Um, I have a meeting today with someone who offered to be an angel investor, but more like a friend helping with the business plan. Um, I'm doing my youth financial literacy community, so that's what I'm referring to. Trying to see what nonprofits and orgs I can collaborate with, maybe bring in affiliates or young entrepreneurs our age in their 20s looking to give back to youth.
Mhm.
Uh, Other than that, I think I'm all over the place in real estate, but in a fun way. Like, I don't think my shiny object syndrome is like too severe. I think that I'm like learning in different areas and being a newbie. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's what you got to do because you joined this year, right?
Yeah. So I started real estate investing this February by joining Sub 2. And
Mhm.
then I found out about Vina Jetty and joined her community this summer in August.
Mhm.
And then now my first GP deal, or like my first deal, is a boutique hotel in Puerto Rico. And then we're just hoping to scale that portfolio next year.
Hell yeah!
Oh, it's so crazy to say.
I know. What the heck? You have a hotel in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I honestly, sometimes I think that when I talk with people, their first assumption is to discredit me, which I want to like work through mentally,
Mhm.
uh, past that mindset, because I'm like, oh, they probably like, yeah, discredit me at first. But then I thought about it, and I was talking with a girl today, and she was like, you get to take your family out there, like go visit your own hotel when you want. I'm like, that is so true. I do own a hotel. I don't just like say that. So working through mentality for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get there because I'm still trying to get there as well, and it's not like I have the biggest head start or anything. But I mean, last year I had gotten my arbitrages, and the second one I got was in Joshua Tree, and that's actually close. It's pretty close to most of my family, and so they came and they were helping me put it together. And then like all the kids were there, and I had a pool, so it was like cool. So for like a night, everybody was just kind of there, and yeah, it's like, oh wow, I can provide this.
Yeah.
Ah,
I think we like overlook it because we're so goal oriented and we want bigger things, but it is really nice to like sit back for a little and reflect and be super grateful for the things that you've worked through. So,
yeah. What have you learned so far with the whole hotel ordeal?
what have I not learned? I think is way better because me, I came in and I have barely any real estate experience prior to um, the deal, or I'm just newer. So
Mhm.
I wanted a lot more insight on underwriting, raising private money. I came in with more expertise in social media marketing than majority of my general partners.
Nice.
So it's fun because all of us hold skill sets and experience that we can like learn from each other on. So
Mhm.
maybe I'm head of marketing right now or like leading more of the social media marketing, but people are coming and learning from me and then we rotate. Like I learn from Carolyn and Al and Pauline who have started their own fund and I get to learn from them on capital raising. I learn from JC and Jared on underwriting. So, and we're picking out like the aesthetic right now, which is really fun.
Wait, what was the last part?
We're picking out like the design and aesthetic right now, so that's really cool too.
Oh, damn. Wait, so is the hotel built already, or are you guys doing a value add thing?
So it's new development. We bought the land and then we are getting permits right now. It's a little slower because it's island time uh,
Mhm.
for Puerto Rico, but it's like the lot of land is 2 minutes from the Ritz Carlton, which I think is really cool. So the whole thing is I haven't done construction or new development myself, so all great learning experiences.
Yeah, and Christy's a part of that one too, right?
Yes, Christy, Sue, Sean, there's a lot of us, so it's a great story to tell.
That's awesome. Yeah, I actually was talking to her last week as well, and she was telling me how she like that's what she does, like development and like 3D modeling and stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's right up her alley.
Yeah, exactly. She's been doing like renderings for multifamily units for I think over 10 years.
Yeah.
So,
It's so funny because she had joined our team, our multifamily team, like earlier this year, and I just assumed that everybody was pretty like relatively new. And then she like whipped out the best underwriting ever. And I was like, who are you? And then she's like, oh, I was working with my family in multifamily stuff since I was at college. And I was like, what?
yeah, she's amazing. And her communication skills are great. Like I love the way she describes events or relays information from a
Mhm.
conference. So, overall a great team player to have on my partnership.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Bless
What
that.
about you? What are you focused on for 2024? How has your journey been?
Oh, it's been interesting. The thing I would like to do is to figure out what to focus more on because I don't feel like I'm going to be looking into more fields in 2024. I think it's just deciding what to focus on.
Mm.
Um, so I guess that's my goal. Yeah.
That makes two of us. Doubling down.
Heck yeah. Because I don't like, I mean, okay, it's not that I don't like it. The short term rental and mid-term rental field is interesting, but I don't want to do it alone. I think that's it. And I
Yeah,
feel like even though I have partnered with a couple people, they just kind of leave me out on my own. And I'm like, no, I need supervision. Maybe not supervision, but like I want me and somebody else so that we can double check our work
gotcha. In terms of property management,
in terms of property management. 'Cause, oh my God.
maybe hire VAs and then train them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
just
But
an
I
option.
want partners.
Yeah,
But yeah, stuff like that where I hadn't even thought about that earlier in the year. Only recently have I actually started thinking, oh yeah, VAs, duh.
hmm. Well, I'm just learning that too because I'm like social media in itself and like content creation is a huge job.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to get VAs this month, hopefully, and then train them for next year.
Oh, okay. I like that. So what's your, I guess going into like, okay, so I know that your goal is like similar to mine where we want to kind of focus it for next year. Um, but do you have like a mission going into real estate? I know some people they're like, well, I joined for generational wealth, but also I want to help like veterans and stuff.
Gotcha. So one thing I really want to be a part of as I grow more in real estate is affordable housing. Um, I think in specifically for 2024, my thing is just growth in general. So whether that's another boutique hotel or multifamily units, I don't think there's an asset class that I'm certain like that I want to just stick solely on. But that's also because my focus is more on branding and how do I say? Like, I thought that my avenue towards active income was going to be scaling multifamily or single
Mhm.
family homes. Now that I've gotten a little more educated on all the avenues of entrepreneurship and business, I do want to acquire one business in 2024. Not quite sure what that timeline is going to be like, but that is a decision I have just come across because I came from Dealmaker um, a week
Uh,
ago, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
so what happened that made you decide buying a business?
So I found out about passive income through real estate. Like I think most people do. You read Rich Dad Poor Dad, you're like, this is the way to be financially free.
Mhm.
Um, so I was focused since when I first started in January, which is crazy to reflect back now. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get 5 midterm rentals this year, all rental arbitrage, and like I'll get passive income that way. And now I'm like, oh, I want to buy a business. So there's been so many ups and downs in my learning, but then also in like perspective. Maybe that's the same thing. Um, so, anyways, I'm like, the return that we get back on our investment in real estate is pretty slim in comparison to when you acquire a business, whether that be creatively or with an SBA loan. You're cash flowing day one, as long as you're like going after the right deals. And that cash flow can be like 5K, 10K, 20K in
Mhm.
comparison to when we acquire a single family home. And after PITI and after expenses, I'm only cash flowing like 200 to 1,000,
Yeah.
or I still have to pay property management. It's more of a long term game. So my I say all that to say that I think I'm just really young still, and maybe a little impatient in comparison to other people in our field. And I'm like, this makes more sense for my season of life right now.
Mhm. Damn. I like it. That's such a that's kind of a big thing too. Like buying somebody's business. I feel like creating your own is a little, I don't know. For me, it feels more introductory. So,
Yeah.
damn.
Well, I think it's all perspective, because think about when we're both multifamily, and there's a lot of people who come from single family and they're like, "Oh, I need to like hone in on my skill sets in single family first before I transition to multifamily." But it's
Mm,
mindset. It's like you could go bigger now, like it would take the same amount of work and higher returns. And I feel the same towards buying a business. Like I have no experience in working a W-2, and I wouldn't be a great operator. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be a great operator for most businesses right now. But
yeah.
I'm great at being a connector, and I've noticed that if I can utilize that skill set for both raising private capital, but also to find operators who'd be willing to come in and share the business with me,
Hmm.
then I can still own a business as long as I understand business fundamentals.
Hmm.
You don't have to necessarily know how to operate the business that you own.
Yeah.
And it's the same as real estate. Like a lot of us own short-term rentals or midterm rentals, and we don't operate it ourselves. We have a partner who operates for us.
Yeah. Or a VA. Haha.
Or, mm-hmm.
Okay. Man, that's interesting. What you are very ambitious. Have you always been like this, or was there something that kind of catapulted that ambition in you, that drive?
Thank you, by the way. Have I always been? I Yeah, I have always wanted to achieve a lot, but it didn't come from like my parents putting that pressure on me. I think I just enjoyed it, or I was put in a lot of different things at once. So, growing up, I was doing basketball and Polynesian dance, and I was like put into church school on top of like my school. So I feel like I was always doing something. And as an entrepreneur now, I can more naturally put my time towards my business because I want to, and I know how to manage my time doing like
Uh,
Bayani, and then I still train for Ori Tahiti, like dance,
mhm.
and I like excelling in different areas. I don't know if that answered your question specifically, but I think it's the balance of different um, avenues
Active.
of growth and activities. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Okay. And, oh, another question that I remember having, but I forgot to write it down. So, um, going back to like what you had just mentioned, you just mentioned Bayani, and that's your youth program, correct? Um,
Yeah.
that is amazing. I would love to hear more of that. And also, what made you want to start this? Did it come from something with your family? Is your family as generous as you are?
To answer the last question first, yes. Like I think a lot of it, the generosity that I have is cultural. So I'm Filipino, and it's very family oriented.
Mhm.
Um, so I've grown up around kids my whole life. I'm like the oldest of my siblings. I have two younger brothers, and then I have most of my cousins are like 10 right now, 12. They're younger, so I've been pretty maternal, I think. Um, so before I found real estate, I knew I wanted to work with kids. I minored in child development.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I thought I was gonna do like medicine because I'm Asian. So I was like, okay, I'll do all my prereqs to do pediatric audiology, and I'll go get my doctorates for that. And I didn't really like feel connected to it, but I knew I wanted to work with kids.
Mhm.
I knew I wanted to be successful. So then after finding out about real estate and then becoming super passionate towards like financial freedom myself, um, it kind of just made sense for me to combine both my passions, like my love in working with kids and like my love for business and entrepreneurship and do that because I thought I was going to be a teacher growing up, but now I know that I love mentorship and I don't
Mhm.
have to be like the only way towards mentorship is not going into a teaching position at the public school.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think I answered. Did I answer every question?
I think so. Where did the name Biani come from?
I actually came from the sub to mastermind, and I was like, wow, I like love the fact that we're all change makers, like in this room. And at first I was like, change makers is such a good word, but like it sounds corny. I don't want it to be like my name for the kids program, but like I just love that we're all like difference makers, like we like want to make change in the world, whatever. So my cousin and I started brainstorming like words that come around like selflessness or um, trailblazers, change makers, I don't know. And
Mm-hmm.
after all the English words, we were just like, okay, like all these sound kind of corny. So she was like, why don't you just search Filipino words? I was like, okay, let's see. So then we started searching some words in Tagalog. And Bayani came up, which it originally means like hero in
Ooh.
English translation, but now it means more like a war, or it really means like a warrior or someone who's willing to um, fight for something bigger than themselves and like overcome challenges for the greater good, not just like for themselves. I,
Mm-hmm.
I like that, and like I thought about Kajabi, the
Yeah.
platform we're on. I was like, that word doesn't even exist. Like Bayani sounds like something like that. Like I don't think it's too weird or like too hard to say. So it fit me. Like it fit who like why I'm the person I am because of culture, and then also like bringing together a community of people who want things or like want to put their energy and time into the greater good.
Yeah. Damn. I like that. That is, you know what's interesting about that as well? I was speaking to another woman in the multifamily field. Her name is Slandi. Um, I was speaking to her last week, and she was born and raised in Haiti, I think, and she was the oldest of her siblings, and so she kind of had to take care of them. So she has a very, again, like maternal instincts as well, and she is very much a giver. So she has such like a servant serving kind of mentality as well. And she was going into, like, at first it was kind of to her detriment because she would put everybody else's needs above hers, and then she got kidney disease, and so she's like, okay, well, that's a wake up call. Like, let me start focusing on myself more so that I can help my children and my family and stuff. And it was just interesting because that just seems to be something that keeps coming up. Like, Pace is very giving, Mina's very giving. She was talking about that, and that's amazing that that's all encapsulated in that word Biani. Oh my god, that's very fitting.
Yeah, I do really like the that we made that choice. And Bayanihan basically means community. So I was like, oh, even though to like I probably won't make that the word that everyone refers to the community as, like to me, I know that like the words are special to me and it like connects back to my culture. Um, but thank you. Super excited.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And it's excited that we're working together. We have like similar missions, so it'll be a fun journey together.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's really cool to see how things kind of come together, and like, my mom has the nonprofit and she works with the youth, and so I'm kind of thrust into that as well, but I didn't think that it would be helpful in the future. And it's like, it is. I'm using that. Like, I know how to, or not, maybe I don't know how to work with the youth, but I know that now I work with them, so it helps me just it translates into different things.
Yeah, you're familiar with it, you're passionate about it, so everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. Oh, and then what's cool about the Biani as well, the definition of it, how you were saying, for the greater good kind of thing. Um, I would say that that also relates to like, the personal development, so that it's kind of going into making yourself good so that you can make the community good as well, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's a great point to make because we're so focused as a community on mindset and like positivity. Because mindset is everything. Like if we can understand how to get them to believe in themselves more, or like broaden their creative perspective and outlook on problem solving, um, and just overall connect more with their inner power and like connect that to their desires to help people.
Hmm.
Like, perfect. I think that's, like, the number one reason why most of us in our field are successful is because, like, we've found that security in ourselves and, like, are following our why or, like, following our yes.
Mm.
But that's a lot
Ooh.
of personal development, like you said.
What steps have you been taking in terms of like the personal development journey?
I would say it was pretty recent or, um, I think for most people who, like, stop a sport that they've been doing their whole life. For me, I stopped basketball after high school, and I was like, I lost community, I lost, like,
Mm.
friends who could relate to personal development because we were all growing towards a goal. Like we were trying to get better as players.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I didn't get that in college, like a group of people who could relate to that priority. And now finding real estate and like real estate communities, um, entrepreneurship communities, like I finally found people who can uplift me through like resonating with their goal setting.
Mm.
Um, But personally, I think I just started because I was taking classes for my major, cognitive science,
Mm.
and a lot of it is neurobiology, neuropsychology, and like mindfulness was one of my classes that I took my senior year of college. I was like, wow, like I started doing that. I started doing like meditation, journaling, learning about being more mindful. I went to therapy. I think I was just doing all the things at once, so I can't like
Mm.
pinpoint which one specifically helped, but my journey in exploring all those avenues of like mental health and mindfulness have really got me to where I am today to be a lot more spiritual and then to see now the power and manifestation and like spirituality because most people who are successful in our field what I've noticed is that they have like really strong beliefs in themselves like they find that inner peace through whatever avenue journaling mindset like church um, I meant like mindfulness practices, but um, they believe in that higher power, and then they connect with their own power, and they're like, "This is what I want to achieve, and if I can believe that I can do it, then there's nothing like else that could be limiting my growth."
Yeah, that's very true. That's so true. And that's where we need to practice that too. But man, it's so difficult. But having like the it's all everything that you're saying and that I grew up my mom telling me is like all in Think and Grow Rich, a part of the manifestation and part of like I mean most things come from kind of confidence and the confidence comes from faith and the faith comes from you just from like affirmations. And so I feel like
Yeah.
lie to yourself a little bit.
No, seriously, seriously.
Yep. Oh my
Be
God.
you're now like, I appreciate this conversation because I'm now reflecting back on just how, like, it wasn't too long ago where I started my therapy and, she was trying to suggest to me to put a picture of myself, which I have now. I didn't do it when I was in therapy because I didn't really like feel comfortable. I was like, that's kind of weird. But
Yeah.
she was like, put a picture of your younger self on your phone because it's a good reminder of like who you're doing things for. Like the little girl inside you who always dreamed of doing X, Y, or Z. And then like telling me to have those affirmations because I didn't grow up hearing it. It wasn't like mental health wasn't something like verbalized in my house or I guess culturally. And so when I first was suggested affirmations like a year ago, I couldn't do it. Like it just wasn't comfortable for me. I didn't believe in the words that I was saying, and it was really hard for me to lie to myself because I just suck at lying. So I didn't connect to the energy. I couldn't sit there in the mirror and be like, yeah, like I'm confident, I'm beautiful. But now through personal development and like finding that confidence in other avenues, I am like way more confident to be like I'm a boss ass woman, or like I'm insanely confident, I'm insanely beautiful. Like I now believe those things, but 22 years of my life, I don't think I fully could have believed those words coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's really interesting. I saw a meme the other day that was like, you know, when you actually do the like running every day or journaling every day, like what did you know? It actually helps. And it's like,
Yeah.
it does.
No, seriously. I
Yeah,
just commented that and I was like, that is so true.
right. Yeah, and I only within the last couple of months have I really also been kind of like, all right, I want to be like other people and not necessarily like, oh, I like, I'm idolizing other people. It's, I see that they're confident, or I see that they're doing these things, or I see that they're successful in their own right. And I want to feel that way. And it's like, okay, well, how can I go about that? What are the attributes that they have that I want to start embodying? And then I was like, okay, well, they have these attributes. Well, how did they start with that? Well, they actually started taking care of themselves and in like different ways. And I'm like, well, okay, let's do it. And then like it was so funny because I hated running. And I think I started running a couple months ago. I want to say like July. Um, and I just do different variations of things. So it fits my schedule more. But like I started running, I'm like, this isn't that bad. And then somebody mentioned something about a runner's high, and I'm like, oh my god, that's runner's high. It's just funny.
Yeah, I've never experienced that. So shout out to you. I've been very, very proud of you. For those who don't know, because I want you to make a clip out of this, Jada has been doing a 30 days of consistency challenge and is killing it all across the board, like reading, like workouts, personal development work, real estate work. It's been really cool to see. So super proud of you.
It all came from you, girl. Yeah.
It was It was very fun. I'm still doing consistent posting, but and all the things, but it's been really cool to see the community that comes together to do like one thing that's not just like a copy paste version of the same challenge. Everyone's doing personal development in their own way.
Yeah. I love it. And I love seeing like the other two people that I see is Kyle and Max. So it's
Me
cool.
too. Yeah, Landon too. He's been posting. It's really cool. Like it fills my cup every day.
I like it. I like that because I mean Kyle's older than us. He's 22 or not 22. He's 27. I don't know how old Landon is, but it's cool to see all of us kind of like 20s and like doing things together. I like it. I like it's so comforting to have people our age.
Right?
'Cause-
Like
yeah.
I love all our friends in real estate, and I like actually being surrounded by older people
Mhm.
because I don't know, we align in maturity or goals, priorities, but the one of the reasons I'm passionate about like empowering youth or young adults is because I just want more people our age to be winning with us, you know? Like this could be so fun if we all prioritize right now. This is our season to grind, like sacrifice period of our lives.
Yeah.
We live way way longer or have way more experiences later down the line, have more time to put ourselves first, put our health first. Um, like getting older doesn't mean we're gonna be old. So it's like I want more people to join us, you know?
Hell yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Oh, you know what was interesting? My mom and I were just talking about this morning. And I had seen a meme about it as well. She was mentioning how it's so interesting how nobody really like going to the school system and going back into that or going into that kind of topic of discussion. The school system doesn't teach about a lot of stuff. Like they don't teach about taxes, financial literacy, emotional intelligence, relationships, and not necessarily like romantic relationships, but just relationships in general with your family, with friendships and stuff, and really like how
Right.
to think about that. And um, we were we were just thinking how it's so weird how nobody really talks about losing friends as you grow older, and not that it like has to have or like that there's falling outs or anything, but like you just grow apart because you're going into different areas. And like, although there were some fallouts in high school, um, I know that a lot of the friendships I have are a little different now, and I don't talk to a lot of people, but it's just because they're in W-2s and they have their own kind of things going on. And some of them like to go clubbing and stuff, and a lot of them, if they have a birthday party or something, it involves drinking. And not that I'm like, or anything, but it's just something that I'm not really too into. And yeah, it another interesting aspect is that it feels like not everybody, but a vast majority of the people in this field are like very faith based or very like similar minded. I'm like, oh my God, what? That's crazy.
Yes. For the first part, right? Like losing friends. I heard when you go to college, you'll lose a lot of like your high school friends.
Hmm.
And for me, it was a little different because I was in college over COVID. So for 2 years, I was sent back home, and I still kept that connection with high school friends.
Hmm.
Um, I think this transition from college to like career is a way bigger difference in like dynamics and friendships
Hmm.
because we're really choosing what we prioritize, and we're not all in the same bubble community as I was in college. I still love like my college friends. We're still really close, but I had to tell them like I'm actually going to choose to not move in with them because we don't like I couldn't be prioritizing stuff in entrepreneurship. I would personally feel bad. Like I would feel bad having to say no all the time to going out, or
Yeah.
like having to say no to going and Taco Tuesday and drinks. Like it was nothing on them. It's really fun hanging out, but it would derail me from like my big goal. And so I just had to have that separation because I would feel bad. Um, but
Dang.
to your second point about faith, like I grew up Catholic, but I didn't have as strong of faith like maybe high school, like in young adulthood of high school and college as I do now. And I
Hmm.
think a lot of it is like less because I'm around people who have strong faith in a higher power. It's like you literally see how manifestation works right in front of you. Like it's hard to not believe in spirituality and in energy. Like I'm a huge believer in energy.
Yeah.
Um, and that ties into faith because it's like believing in something that you can't see.
Hmm.
And like my discovery and all that has truly been it's like factual. If you can see people's growth in it, you can see like and feel the power and energy in a room when you go to conferences and masterminds. So
Yep.
I've loved it. I love people who have strong faith, and then I love people who like put that faith into action. And I
Hmm.
think that's who we surround ourselves with in this community.
Yeah, it's so magical too when you see the things happening for you, like when they start unraveling and you're like, "Oh, I was just thinking about that," or I was just like, "Wow, I want this to happen," or "This is my goal." And then it's like, "Oh my God, I got to my goal," or like, "Oh my God, I'm almost there."
Yeah, exactly. It's not a coincidence. And like I want to bring up a point that has blown my mind just last week. But we talked about it with the kids when I went to Dealmaker. I got the privilege to hear Jamil Damji. I hope I said his name right. Um, he spoke on energy and how it relates to money. And I did not realize that I had such an underlying like negative association between or like with money
Hmm.
because that has been the limiting factor or like the blockage towards my success. If I can't really believe in the positive power of the money that I'm like attracting,
Hmm.
then it's not going to come to me. He was like, you have a direct correlation between the perspective you have on money, whether that's negative or positive, and how it sits in your bank account. Like, if you have a negative perception of money, then you're going to have like low bank accounts, negative numbers. But if you really believe in its positivity and the positive charge in it, then like it'll be like a current. It flows in and out of your life because you are confident that it just comes in and out. And
Yep.
like that you will be giving so much money out because you know it'll come back in. And like
Mm.
a lot of our mentors do. Jamil, Vina, Pace, Abraham, they're all giving so much money and like so many experiences to others because they know it'll come back and they have that positive relationship. But my mind was just blown. I was like, that is so true. Like now, for the past week since I've been home, I've been doing money affirmations all week, like visualizations, really trying to work on my mindset around money. But
Mhm. Yeah, I changed. Oh, where was it? Here, let me see if I could show you. You can't really see it, but it says I am a money magnet. So that's like
there you are.
my thing. I
There you are.
hell yeah, you know Alex Lovely?
I do. I really appreciate him because he was like a big transition point for me mentally too. But go ahead.
He had a personal development course like a couple months ago that I was a part of. It was an 8-week program, and we would meet every week. And him and this other lady were, her name's Coralie. They both would talk about different things like, one was like, have no expectations, learn how to start having, sorry, the sun's coming in. And like, not don't have expectations in a bad way. Like, don't have expectations because you'll be disappointed, but kind of because, when you don't have expectations, you can not be disappointed, but you can be surprised, pleasantly surprised all the time. And so we would talk about a lot of different things. One of the last sessions that we had was talking about your relationship with money. And then I was like, yeah, be really aware of like, what do you think about your relationship with it? And, start having a mantra for yourself to have a better relationship with it. And a mantra is an affirmation, stuff like that. And so when I was younger, my mom and I would see like coins on the floor, even if it's like a penny, and we'd like pick it up and say, I'm a money magnet. So it was
Well,
like, okay, I gotta use that one. And yeah, it's been cool. It's been very nice, not only paying attention to, personal development stuff, but also just your mindset on a lot of different things, money included.
yeah. Did you grow up around a lot of like personal development encouragement or like mindfulness?
Yeah, it was a lot more like spiritual kind of stuff. Like my mom was very into The Secret and manifesting. So I would say it was more of that. And then my dad was more in the physical aspect of like personal development. So he was always like, well, maybe not just physical, but he's very jack of all trades person. So he's like, I want you to be more of a well-rounded person. So I'm going to teach you guitar. I'm going to teach you music theory,
Well,
juggle a soccer ball, how to do this and this and this and this. And he's like, not that you have to be the best at things, but just, in the future, it may come in handy, and it's just good things. Not just so it'll come in handy in the future, but a lot of these things translate into different things. So like juggling the soccer ball helps with balance, and that's just good in general. And it helps with a lot of different muscle things. But yeah, so I feel like I feel like my family, while not always like, they're definitely not real estate people, and they're not like real estate or like business oriented, how like I just feel like this space is like, it's very personal development. So I didn't really grow up with that, but I grew up with aspects of that. And then my parents were also really big on like emotional intelligence, at least when it came to me. And they taught me a lot of stuff like that. So I feel like I am so fortunate to be a little bit ahead of at least where they were when they were my age. Feels good.
yeah, same here. This is kind of unrelated. Did you watch the Barbie movie? I cried twice on that part where it's like mothers stand still so like their daughters can like run farther or so kind of the same. I feel really grateful to be like in the position I am today because even when that hotel deal happened, my dad was like, "You know what I was doing when I was 22? I was working at the Hilton for like as a security guard." He's like, "And now you own a hotel." So it was definitely a good like reflection moment and gratitude for our parents, of course.
That's so good. And I love that. And it seems like this is how your parents are too. But my parents are, they reminisce a lot on where they were, and now they see where I'm at, and they tell me stuff like that as well. Like, you're we're so glad that you're ahead in these aspects than we were. And it's, for me, it's like, oh well, thank you. And I feel like that's kind of how things should be. But then I hear about how their parents were, and they it seemed like they were jealous of their children. Like my mom's, or my grandma, my mom's mom, and not that she's a bad person, but it's just different culture. But she would tell my mom like, well, I didn't have friends, so neither can you, and stuff like that, where it's just like, what? Wouldn't you want your kids to have a better life? It's weird.
Yeah. There's a lot of, as I've grown a lot in entrepreneurship, I think the teachings don't always align with like cultural traditions or cultural mentality. Like, how can I say? There's a lot of things I've recognized in my parents' generation that they have to work through, like with their mentality because it's just like come from culture
Yep.
or like what their parents have taught onto them. It's hard to kind of rewire 50 years of habit and like mindset. So that's where I do feel very grateful is to discover and prioritize personal development so soon so that I
Mhm.
don't like create those habits over time and it becomes a lot harder to change up. Um, and a lot of that is gratitude towards my parents and like having them provide the life that I can now go explore and work on myself so that I can better our community or better our family. I don't
Yeah.
think personal development is such a big priority for like Filipino culture or like for the older generations. It's like
Oh,
go work, you know?
yeah. 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 Most of my family are, I mean, Mexicans. So like Mexicans are also very like work, like very, very hardworking, work oriented people. My grandma, I remember for a few years we had a 99-cent store, and she would work every day. Or at least she would work most days, but there was like never a day that I remember that it actually like they had it closed. So um, yeah, it's crazy. And now I think because of that, my mom kind of got that. And so with her nonprofit, she's working a ton. And so I have to remind her, like, no, today's a day off. Like,
Mm.
it's your Monday. You go on a bike ride. We'll take care of that later. I will help you later so that for now you can go relax. And yeah, it's weird. At least in that aspect, that's something that's like still going, because then now I feel like, okay, I need to be working. I need to be working.
Yeah. We were gonna like definitely continue growing and I think be a lot different than our parents, but at the same time, even I catch myself like, dang, I sounded like my mom right there when I was talking to my brother. Or like, oh, like I'm working really hard, like long hours, and I've seen my mom do the same, like being mindful, like you said, to kind of just let me take an hour break to meditate or like go on a bike ride. Um, so it's good. You're putting that skill set in now for yourself, and then being a good reminder for your parents.
Hell yeah. Man, I love talking to you. And I'm sure that you have another meeting coming up. So last question that I have, at least, is
Okay,
if you were a vacation, what vacation would you be?
if I were a vacation, that's a good question.
Hmm. It's a weird question because you would think like, oh, where would you go as a vacation? Or like, but it's like, no, this is the vacation. If you can embody.
Body. I'm thinking something all inclusive. Like I love the beach, so it has to be something like tropical.
Mhm.
Um, but something where you can like go and do activities and be really like go hiking, be active, do ATVs, whatever. But then also spa, relaxation, like I want all the things. I think to me that makes most sense because like that's something I want to have for my lifestyle in the future or just like what I'm working towards.
Mhm.
It's interesting because I've heard Layla Hormozy a lot. Like I've consumed a lot of her content recently. And I like that she has referred to balance not being a priority for her. Because at first, I was thinking, I want balance in my life. Like the goal is to be having financial freedom so I can have a balanced life of family and like physical health and like nutrition.
Mhm.
For her, she doesn't believe that like, or I could be putting this the wrong way, but um, balance isn't a priority for her with the goals that she has because how can she be exceptional at the thing that she wants to achieve or like hit that $1 billion business through being balanced? Like it just doesn't. makes sense, like, logically for her. And I was like, you know what? Like, there are going to be seasons of my life where it's not balanced, or if I was an athlete, like, and I needed to work on basketball all the time, like, that's not really balanced, but you find balance within your own goals and routine. So, that's my answer. That's my long-winded answer to say I want something that's like all inclusive, like beach, resort, there's family activities, there's relaxation and spas, but yeah.
That's a good one, an all-inclusive trip. I think that's really good. And yeah, oh my God, the season of hard. It's a season of hard. It's fine. There's going to be seasons.
Yeah.
You get through seasons.
Yep. And I think 2024 is my season to really double down, go deep, work on my business, and then see where that goes for 2025. But I would like to travel sometime 2025 or 2026. Definitely 2026, but business, standing on business all 2024.
You got this. You can travel for business.
I can. I do hope to do that as well. But yeah, we're gonna get our money up, Jada. 2024 is our year.
Woo! And seeing as how freaking far you went this year, and it being your first year, and you haven't even done your first year, my God, you're so ahead. You just like skyrocketed. And it's so exciting to see where you're gonna go for this next year. Like, dude, my God.
Thank you. Thank you. I really do like taking that in because I'm so focused on growth. Like you said, I think I am naturally ambitious, and I have amazing friends as role models. Like I have you, I have Alexis, there's like Kevin, like a lot of people our age who are super successful. And I think I'm just impatient to get to that point. But I've learned now that to love the journey and that I'm only going to be new for so much longer. So I'm okay, like not taking it slow, but taking it all in and appreciating the moment now of being super new to things and figuring it out.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's
Yeah,
go.
so let's do this. 2024 is our year. What is one thing, because we'll do a podcast again in a year. Like maybe there's more in between, but maybe we should like set some goals to look back on and be like, dang, we said that? Like,
Okay. Let's do it.
I
Oh
don't know.
God. I can't think of a goal right now.
Maybe like 3 things you hope to accomplish by
You hope to
November 21st, 2024.
Okay. I will have hoped one thing at least will be to own own commercial multifamily, but I also want to own smaller residential, whether it be a house hacking thing or what. So it's 2 for me.
Nice. Okay.
You go.
Oh, that's cheat. You know, only the 2.
I'll think of one more as you go.
Let's think of something that I know I will do for sure. One goal I had, it's not related to real estate, but I've never competed for Ori Tahiti, which is like Tahitian dance. So I told myself that after college I was going to train and do my first competition. So I will have done my first competition by this time next year. For work, I do hope to have at least one commercial real estate building like added onto my portfolio, whether that be another boutique hotel or storage or like multifamily. And in a year, I think I can have 1,000 like teens and young adults in my community.
Okay. We can do it.
Yeah. If not that, then it's like right now my goal is to work with like local schools in my area. I'm out in San Diego right now, so partnering with an after school program or an organization that can sponsor those kids would probably be the quickest route to impacting more kids, but quality over quantity. I just want to be able to provide good quality financial education for whoever is coming into my community.
Damn, that's good.
Thanks.
Ah.
Now you owe me one more before the night ends.
You know, I'm going to make it non-real estate as well because that's easier. But also, this is one of my main goals that I just keep pushing off. I want to make a song that I majority work on, essentially. So I've made a couple songs before, but my dad super helped me with those. And so I want to make one that's more my version, and I can have some help here and there, but I want me to make the final decisions and really put all my flavor into it.
Nice. I would love to be your first listener. Put it on Spotify. I'll be the first one. Actually, I'm an Apple Music person, but put it on both, and I'll listen to it on both platforms. I will. Okay. Yes. Cool.
All right.
Yay! Those are great goals. I'm excited.
We got this. Go team!
Yep. I'm super excited to look back on this because I really do believe in both of us, and I'm excited to see like how both of us are going to grow together, achieve things that we did not anticipate. So
yeah. Oh yeah, that's totally going to happen. Like I mean, I didn't even think that I would be working with Tim Mai on his team thing, and then I'm sure that you didn't realize that you would be owning a hotel right now. So
no,
let's just we're ready, and we're ready to receive. We're receptive.
yes, open and receptive to all goodness and flow of money into my life. Yes, let's do it. Thank you for having me on today. This was really fun.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I hope that more people. Where can they find you?
You can connect with me at Isa Fidelino on everything: Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube,
TikTok.
TikTok. Oh yeah, TikTok. I really want to like expand my LinkedIn, but I'm most responsive on Instagram, TikTok, and then building my LinkedIn right now. So that's where you guys can find me.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Isa. Have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jada. I'll talk to you soon.
Yay.
Bye, guys.